Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to warn everybody, I think that the crypto, from what I've seen the last 48 hours, the crypto police are out in force. They're doing flare drops. They're stopping you if they see you saying anything that they haven't approved, so be careful out there. These are adults too, believe it or not. Check this out. Breaking. Venmo rumors are circulating on YouTube about making XRP available to its millions of members. Now, this is a very dangerous thing right here, too, because it's got the word rumors in it. I don't think you're allowed to even show or talk about anything where it says rumor. But see, the thing is, we don't know if it's a trumor or not. And so I have to show it. It could be a trumor. I've seen several, and we're probably going to see a lot of rumor type stuff until Ripple starts talking about what, or making any kind of announcements that are as a result of the ruling and all that. We're going to have a lot of rumor type things, and that's okay because we're adults. We can all sift through this. Dark Defender, now he's the second or third chart guy, of which I'm not, who is seeing comparisons between 2017 in the charts and today. He said this green indicator turned before bull run in 2017, a smaller bull run in 2021 when XRP hit $1.96. As to reiterate, turned to green in March 23. Technical explanation. Now, the Grand Wave 3 targets. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, $333, not financial advice. His Grand Wave 3. You could get in a ton of trouble with the crypto police by putting that number in there. Watch out. Watch your back, Dark Defender. They're out in force. They might be knocking on doors. We don't know. In 2017, similar move occurred. And in 2021, it had a huge B wave. XRP now preparing himself for this grand wave. Will be expected to form itself in a green frame highlighted in the chart. It's calculated the first wave of the grand wave itself expected to be between 1836. That's dangerous too. Smaller wave structure. Anyway, look, I think that the grand wave, you take out all the corruption and all the stuff we've experienced, and the grand wave times 10 would have happened by now, folks. Okay, John Deaton invoked Jed McCaleb. Watch this.
Now, why Jed McCaleb was left off, and I have nothing against Jed McCaleb. I personally think that Jed McCaleb would be on the Mount Rushmore of crypto, right? You'd have Satoshi, and you'd have Vitalik, and you'd have Jed McCaleb. Why? Well, Jed McCaleb is responsible. He was a Bitcoin developer. He was involved with Mt. Gox. He started the XRP ledger and XRP, and then he went on with XLM. So I'm not saying anything bad against the guy, but here's a fact. I stick to facts. And facts are that during the lawsuit, from the day the lawsuit was filed against Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and Chris Larson, until the lawsuit ended, the SEC was seeking $1.3 billion from Ripple, Brad, and Chris. Yet during that period of time, Jed McCaleb sold $2.6 billion, twice what the SEC was seeking against Ripple and its executives of XRP. He sold that during the pendency of the lawsuit. And I bring that up only because it proves that the SEC is full of shit. If XRP was a security and all cells were securities, then why are they letting the co-founder sell twice as much as the company? Damages are seeking against the company for the same type of cells. And so it just shows you the flaw. Now, there's theories that Jed may have cooperated. How did the SEC get the two lawyer agreements, the two lawyer letters? in 2012. You know, who knows? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. All I can tell you is that I think Jed McCaleb is the true Don, Teflon Don of crypto, because he was associated with Mt. Gox and he walked away. He was associated clearly with XRP and the XRP ledger, and he escaped. And XLM is a mirror copy of XRP, and they've always been, you know, able to continue to do business and never be brought into any of these suits. And so your guess is as good as mine. Okay.
The Teflon Don of crypto, Jed McCaleb. Then here's another. John's got some awesome clips. Here's another one.
It's the offer and the sale of the assets that's the issue. But what it does do is it took the wind, the political wind out of the sails, if you will, or the political sails of the SEC, because they kept saying the tokens are securities. Gary Gensler kept saying most of these except Bitcoin are securities, and you can't say that. You can't say that anymore. And so now we have the SEC conceding in paperwork and in pleadings that the token itself is not a security. They lie and claim they never said that, which is bullshit. If they had never said that, I wouldn't be on crypto law right now, because I never got involved and I wouldn't have had to have 75,000 of my friends join me. And so you out there helped make sure that we took that wind out of their sails. Okay, next question.
Yes, sir. Now, here's the most important part. I want you to listen to this, and then I'll go over what I wrote and what John's reply was.
Ripple sell XRP directly abroad without U.S. legal problems after the Torres decision. Well, Ripple could sell XRP abroad before the Torres decision. So the answer to your question is yes, but there's a Supreme Court case called Morrison, which basically requires, in order for the SEC to have jurisdiction over a sale of a potential security, it has to be within the United States of America. That's the SEC. SEC governs the United States. So one of the major defenses that Ripple always had was that 95% of their sales are outside of the United States. Therefore, the SEC doesn't have jurisdiction. When you think about Japan, the United Kingdom, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, and other jurisdictions that have declared, their regulatory agency has declared that XRP is not a security. So if Ripple or Brad Garlinghouse or anyone else sells XRP in Japan and it's not a security, how could that ever be considered illegal? So that's why also Ripple has been able to keep hiring during this crypto winter, and been able to increase their market share, if you will, overseas, because of that ability to sell XRP regardless of its regulatory status outside of the United States.
Okay, so if you look at this, the first thing John Deaton said when the ruling came out, I'll never forget it. He said that companies like Spin the Bits could now use XRP for payments inside of the United States. That was the first thing I heard him say. So I wanted to give John a hypothetical so that everybody could get a better understanding of how all this works. I said, hypothetically, Ripple sells XRP to Bank of England in London. From Ripple, they're in London, Ripple's got a branch. They sell XRP to Bank of England. Bank of England then sells to a U.S. institution like Bank of America for ODL use in the United States. The ODL transactions are never securities, so XRP can forever be used in the U.S. from that point. That XRP that was sold, once it leaves Ripple, can now be used in U.S. ODL transactions. Is this right? John Deaton says, yes, plus, as you know, DAI, ODL transactions utilize XRP not as an investment, but as a bridge currency in a way exactly described by Gary Gensler in 2018 while at MIT, and here's the link. So, if BOE, Bank of England, sells XRP to Bank of America for ODL purposes, they are not investments as a matter of law, Because the institutions would own the XRP for 3 to 5 seconds only, it's silly to claim one of the institutions expected profit during those seconds, just as it would be silly to argue they are relying on efforts of anyone. These type of XRP transactions don't satisfy a single Howey factor and pursuant to Foreman and are not securities. Here's the video of Gary Gensler talking about how it would work. I'm not going to play that, but I do want to remind you, this is the link to COO when he was talking about how Ripple's liquidity hub could be used post-ruling.
On this whole issue of ODL and programmatic sales being just very clearly designated as not being securities transactions, right? So that's the way that going forward, you would expect large institutions, financial institutions, certainly like Bank of America, to transact. I think it was actually quite timely and maybe fully intended that Ripple created and introduced this liquidity hub product. Because what I'd be doing if I were in Ripple's shoes today is I'd be integrating a liquidity hub into the RippleNet product. So every user of RippleNet, like Bank of America, would simply port into a liquidity hub as the means of obtaining and managing that XRP position that they need to work through ODL.
Boom, there you have it. And that could be, the liquidity hub could be run out of the London office, the Dubai office, or wherever. I believe that we're at a moment, folks, where everybody saw it happens every time. Every time everybody gets all negative out there, they start attacking me and everybody else. I'm used to it. And the worst part about it is you start getting attacked by other influencers, and that's the part that's kind of silly because they know what it's like to be attacked, but some of them just, that's their thing. And it's the crazy part, like I said earlier, they're adults, believe it or not, some of them. But anyway, so this is the nature of the beast. But I believe what we're about to see is we're going to start to see a dominoes of announcements here in the coming. It could be coming weeks, months. I don't know. I believe that's when this thing is on like Donkey Kong, is when you start to see the dominoes of announcements. All it'll take is one major announcement in the U.S. and it's game over. This is an excellent thread by Mr. Huber. The biggest corruption and financial scandal of the 21st century is waiting for journalists who would like a Pulitzer Prize. This is one of the better threads I've seen in the last year. You don't even have to do any more research. The XRP community's already done it. He takes you through JP Morgan and Consensus, and he ties all that together with the Ethereum Alliance. He goes down and down and down, and everybody needs to read this thread, okay? At the very, but the part I wanted to focus in on is down here at the bottom. It's the part where Ashley Prosper files a Freedom of Information Act request to the SEC about communication with JP Morgan, because this, I believe, needs an investigation. She files this Freedom of Information Act request, then Empower Oversight files one. Then JP Morgan, in June 2023, JP Morgan's email provider accidentally deletes. That's a flashback to a woman who is married to a guy who used to be the president. JP Morgan's email provider accidentally deletes almost 50 million emails between January 2018. I'll refresh your memory. January 2018, Jay Clayton goes and meets with Andreessen Horowitz. That's what puts in motion the entire Ethereum free pass. All the way, they've lost 50 million emails all the way between then and November 2020, the month before Jay Clayton drops the lawsuit on Ripple and walks out the door. Those are email communications between JP Morgan and the SEC. And JP Morgan just happened to have lost all their emails. Emails are never lost, folks. It all will come out. It's just a matter of time. But it is disturbing to me which is why I retweeted it, and I asked the question, everyone in crypto should read this thread, especially the part where Ashley Prosper files the Freedom of Information Act with the SEC to get any email communications between the SEC and JP Morgan about Ripple. And then this happens, and here's the article. SEC, they fine. It's always a fine because they don't. It's not. The article should read, SEC sues JP Morgan for what looks like illegalities, makes them spend $200 million plus dollars and ties their company up for the next 3 years. That's what they did to Ripple. But instead, since it's JP Morgan, they're just the benefit of them being able to delete all these emails, I'm sure, was much greater than the $125 million in penalties that they had. They probably, by being able to delete these emails, saved themselves a few $1 billion in lawsuits. Okay? You see how this game works? Have you seen any congressman call for an investigation of this? The good or the bad guys? Nope. You haven't seen anything. Because that's the crooked world that we live in the United States now. It's 100% corrupt. The laws only apply to the good guys. They don't apply to the bad guys. That's where we're at now. It's got to change. And on the same day, this just happens to come out. Former JP Morgan gold traders Michael Nowak and Greg Smith sentenced to prison for prolific spoofing. In other words, rigging the gold markets. And they did it with silver too at JP Morgan. Check this out. Does anybody remember Ken Kurson? I do. Ken Kurson was a guy that was on Ripple's board of directors. When all of the election stuff happened between Biden and Trump, they went after Ken Kurson. The FBI went after him over, they said it was domestic disputes, but they went after him like they went after a lot of the people in Trump's administration. Very interesting, because we didn't hear anything from him after that. This is from a year ago. I just missed it. Found it this morning and wanted to play it for you, just for those of you that don't remember who Ken Kurson is.
I'm quite involved with cryptocurrency too. So that's its own form of collecting. I served on the board of a company called Ripple for 4 years. They're a rather large sort of innovator in the fintech business. So I'm an early adapter of cryptocurrency. I don't know if you could call that collecting the same way, because it's almost the opposite. I like the physical objects, but yeah, I do.
Through Jared, obviously you met President Trump, and I saw a picture with you and him. How well did you get to know him? And do you know anything, again, like the Giuliani question, is there anything about Donald Trump that that the public doesn't know that we would like to know?
Well, that's a harder one for a couple of reasons. You know, Trump has been the most public person imaginable forever. So, but I don't know him as well as I know Rudy. But I knew Trump before he ran into politics. Trump interviewed me when he was considering running in 2012. He probably had heard about me through Jared, but it wasn't like a Jared arranged thing. It was independent of Jared. And I think, you know, if he would have run in 2012, he probably would have hired me. But then once I came to the Observer, I started to know him a lot better. And
you do have to wonder. And then this is from Digital Perspectives. Ripple's Pega Sultani. I'm sorry, Pega. I'm sure I butchered your name. SMEs constitute $17 trillion market. Listen to what she's from Ripple. Listen to what she says.
So SMEs are crucial for the world economy. They ensure a ton of competition and drive innovation. Most of the companies in the world are actually SMEs. They're also a massive part of cross-border payments. So they constitute over $17 trillion of cross-border payments every year. And they're growing much faster than other segments. And a lot of that is spurred by the digital economy and their ability to tap into different markets for new customers. At the same time, they remain very underserved. So while they're big in totality and the aggregate volume is really big, by definition, each one of them is quite small. So when the incumbents are thinking of serving them, the perceived value that they get from these companies is less than what it costs them to serve them.
I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. $17 trillion. Thanks for listening.